Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
Good evening, I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7. It is the lifeblood of Weld County. 89% of the crude oil Colorado produces and 34% of our natural gas, all piped and pumped from its soil. And the industry wants you to believe that it could all go away the moment a new bill is passed, leaving the county high and dry. It's an exaggeration, but leaders say there's still more than enough in the bill to scare off business. They're also tired of people who don't depend on the industry making decisions for them. Here is Denver 7's Jennifer Kovaleski.
We don't have any way to tell you that this bill directly results in a reduction in production.
While the exact impacts are less than clear.
I can't believe we don't even have a forecast.
They will move their capital and they don't come back. That's what we're concerned about.
The battle lines have been drawn.
We led the state in home foreclosures. I don't want to go back to that.
Between elected county leaders who depend on oil and gas.
Broomfield oil and gas development looks wildly different than Weld County.
And cities tired of having no control over new drilling in their backyards.
We are standing at the gates of hell, but we won't back down.
So often we get focused on the industry, but what about those families? They're going to be impacted.
Make no doubt about it. Weld County is Colorado's largest producer of oil and gas.
If you're not drilling new wells, you're not going to have production, and you're not going to have severance taxes.
5 of its commissioners sounded off to lawmakers on the House Finance Committee.
We're concerned that we don't get to regulate our 22,000 active wells in Weld County in the way that we think most benefits our community.
Just days after they, along with 41 local leaders, signed this letter to the governor opposing Senate Bill 181, calling it especially troubling and could cost the state 120,000 jobs. And $8 billion in tax revenue.
This bill has been a long time coming.
While at the same time, supporters argue it's time for public health to come first.
The science, however, cannot be ignored.
That was Jennifer Kovaleski. And tonight, Colorado is one step closer to banning conversion therapy for teenagers. It's a process intended to change a person's sexual orientation. A bill banning it sailed through its final vote in the Senate today and now heads back to the House. And barring anything unexpected, the amended version should be easily approved and then signed into law by Governor Polis. And while there was more than enough support for the conversion therapy bill, lawmakers are still stalling when it comes to the red flag bill. A final Senate vote on the gun legislation was expected today. That's now been delayed until tomorrow, and after that it must also go back to the House and again be voted on because of amendments added by the Senate. There's some awful news out of Weld County tonight. 2 people have been killed after their cars collided this morning. This was on Highway 85. State troopers tell us one of the drivers was a 21-year-old man from Nebraska, the other a 27-year-old from Colorado. Their names have not been released, and troopers are still trying to understand exactly how this happened. Yet another Colorado teacher has been arrested on accusations of sexually assaulting a student. Investigators say they have gathered enough evidence to arrest Sarah Porter on a charge she assaulted a 16-year-old student at Arapahoe High School. She'd only been with the school since August. Administrators say Porter will not return, and her class will be taught by a substitute for the remainder of the year. Tonight, investigators are trying to trace what triggered a deadly home explosion in Grand Lake. The blast rocked the neighborhood, killing a woman and seriously injuring a man. Recent renovations at the home point to a severed natural gas line as the likely culprit, but investigators are not ready to announce a conclusion. King Soopers and its employees appear to have found enough common ground to prevent a strike. A marathon weekend bargaining session gave way to an offer that includes pay raises for all, more vacation time for some, and better overall benefits. Now, we've not seen the specifics, and the union must still vote to approve, and that will likely happen next week. Boulder is one of our Colorado's crown jewels with incredible restaurants, a world-renowned college, access to the mountains. Hard to blame anyone for wanting to live there, but all of that character comes at a cost, sometimes involving the very institutions that make that city so special. Here is Denver 7's Megan Lopez.
For more than a decade, Snarf's Sandwich Shop on Pearl Street
7-inch meatball. 7-inch meatball, you got it, bud.
Has been a sign of all things Boulder.
Snarf's is Boulder.
A place where regulars...
I've been coming to Snarf's probably 25 years.
Know exactly what to order.
Some people don't get the peppers. You got to get the peppers.
Because after all,
if something is good, I don't change it at all.
But change is coming. Right outside, there are already signs of it. signs of things to come.
So this building is going to get torn down April 1st.
This week, this location is closing down for good,
Kind of hard for the little guy to find somewhere.
making way for something else Boulder desperately needs: more housing.
Boulder's just growing. It's outgrown just about the average person can't move here, can't live here.
And believe it or not, it's happened before.
Really? Again?
For the exact same reason.
The original Snarf's location, or the shack as we call it, was right where these white condos are now. Definitely a sign of what's making money here in Boulder, I think.
But even though they're losing their home for a second time,
When the green fence over here went up, that's when I was really like, oh boy, this is happening.
even though they have no idea where they're going to go, Snarf's owners insist they're going to find a new space.
I just want to find a spot that Snarf's is going to stay.
A sign of persistence.
These are the kind of places that have to stay.
Because even with all the change, Boulder's character will stay the same.
Boulder's had all kinds of restaurants, but these are the kind that really really define Boulder.
In Boulder, Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
It'd be a nice day to be out to have a sandwich at Snarf's on Tuesday or Wednesday with 70-degree temperatures, warmest weather we've had since October of last year. Clouds increase Thursday and a storm system unfortunately arrives in time for the weekend with rain and then snow coming in along with colder weather by Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you, Mike. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thank you so much for joining us. Check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.